And then once you get into your position, you might just start to close down the eyes. And do you need anything else? Do you need, so I sit on a cushion and I normally wrap a blanket around my feet and just put it on my knees because my feet tend to get quite cold. So in this moment, do you feel you need anything extra for warmth? Anything extra to cushion or support you? And on reflection, is this the best position for you? And it can be nice to explore that with the eyes closed so that we're not distracted by whatever else is going on in the room. And we can kind of take our awareness inwards and really feel out what's happening. And for our kind of final minute here of just getting ourselves settled and being introduced in the space, anything else, any distraction. So I'm going to get up, I'm going to come back obviously, but I've got an air purifier on in my room, but it's making a noise that's distracting me, so I'm going to switch that off. So we can kind of work as thinking anything that we can control and anything that we could make a bit more pleasant for ourselves. You know, I can control that. I can just switch it off. I can put it back on again after. Then we can do that. Of course, there's things that we can't necessarily control. We can't control as such the thoughts in the mind. We can just acknowledge them, let them pass, try to understand them, give them space. We can't control the outside world, really. Sometimes I wish I had a remote control for my neighbours. Always seems to be on the evenings when it's a quiet practice as well. So just acknowledge any noises that you can hear. Maybe there's a more pleasant noise. If you know you're really drawn to something, like I've just noticed that actually over the sound of my neighbour, there's the noise of the birds probably getting themselves ready for bed. That's a much more pleasant sound. Maybe for you, it's a hum of traffic, someone else in your flat, your house, your space. You might even use for meditation, just gentle background music. I don't suggest it because there are correlations between how your brainwaves work and music, and we don't necessarily want that impact when we're in amongst our practice, but whatever makes you feel calm, makes you feel good. So what's happening outside of me is the question. And then with the next few inhale breaths that we take, it's like we're just drawing closer and closer in towards ourselves. Where might you draw your focus or your anchor to? So these are just suggestions. Could be the space between the brows. We draw close to that space of intuition. We might draw our anchor in towards the heart space. We might draw it in towards the belly button. Maybe in towards the base of the spine. And each time throughout our practice, if we get distracted, we're going to have this little focus point that we draw back to. So I've already mentioned a few of the spaces that we're going to explore, and they're a few of our energy centers. So sometimes called chakras or chakras. 7 main ones, over 100 more intricate ones, running from base of spine to crown of head. So the next few breaths that you take, as you inhale, can you just guide a sense of energy, breath, however you want to see or feel it, up from the base of the spine, out through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, can you draw it down slowly, almost like it comes from the sky above, through crown of head, down base of spine, into the earth beneath you. So just take in a couple of deep breaths to guide that energy up and down the body. If distraction comes in, we just begin again on the next inhale at the base of the spine. And then allow your exhale breath, next one, is to come all the way down to the base of the spine. And feel as though it then spreads down and out into the earth. So whether you're seated, whether you're laid down, if you have your feet to the earth, you might even feel like it comes down the legs and out of the soles of the feet. So just try that a couple of times. Breathe in. And then as you breathe out, it's this real breath out of grounding. It comes down into the seat, the base of the spine, and spreads. And it could spread it as far or wide as you could visually take it, or as your breath allows. A couple more. No right or wrong way. You might even feel like as you breathe out, you So in our practice of Reiki, this is similar to a practice of transmuting, so sending things down into the earth. For you, it might be releasing your day down into the earth, let the earth neutralize. If colors work for you, and they don't for everybody, as you take just these next few breaths out and give that energy of the root down into the earth, you might see it as red. So each of our main energy centers has a color association. The root is red. See if you can gently guide yourself away from whatever visual you may have attached to that. And then take your awareness towards the low abdomen. So here you could work now up and down the front of the body. That could be one option. Or you could kind of settle your awareness to low abdomen and then travel that around to where the corresponding space might be on the back of the body. So this is our sacral space. As we breathe in, that energy rises up front or back of body. Perhaps it bursts out of the crown of the head or just gently comes to the crown of the head. And as you breathe out, take it down to your sacral space, wherever you've kind of assigned that in your mind and on your body. And you might see it spread away from the body. So this is a creative space. You might even see it kind of burst away from the body, rushing out in a creative way. Inhale, rise up. And as you exhale, let the breath come down to the sacral space. And it might release down, it might release wide. There's no right or wrong. How do you see, feel, experience that? The space of creativity, the space of pleasure, of emotions, a free space that moves like water. If colors are your thing, maybe orange can be seen here. Breathing in, coming up the front or back of body. And as you breathe out, down to the sacral space. Let the breath be free. You might find, especially if you're seated, that as you breathe in, there's this sense of rising and power. And then as you breathe out, just a little bit of softness. Perhaps then we can bring both of these together. We breathe in. As we breathe out, we come down past sacral, that orange energy spreads, and then we come down into the root. And let's let that drift away as we move our awareness towards solar plexus. So this space comes up slightly higher. So perhaps we could say between navel and sternum, somewhere there. Again, do you feel or see that in part of this meditation on the front of your body, or do you see that on the back of the body? There's no right or wrong. Maybe you'll even experience it somehow inside the body. Take a breath in, rise up and out of the crown of the head. As you breathe out, come down to that solar plexus space. And energy may expand out. It may rush down towards the root. It may pause to nourish the solar plexus. Breathe into the crown. Breathe down to that space between sternum and navel. And maybe there is a glowing yellow here. And this is a place of strength and power. So as you breathe in, maybe you feel that power kind of rising up. As you breathe out, it's tempered down. If it works for you, maybe these three spaces and places and colors of red, of orange, of yellow blend. We breathe in, we might lift the colors up towards the crown of the head. As you breathe out, draw energy down. We come past our three lower chakra points and right back down into the root, into the earth. Allow that to fade as we lift our awareness to the heart space. And by all means, you could place a left hand to the heart space. If you feel that that kind of offers you a little bit more connection to the heart. And for a moment, sometimes it's nice to just be with the heart space. Is there anything that's rising or falling here? Even physically, is there any kind of tension, tightness, or drawing forwards of the shoulders can be a protection of the heart space? Perhaps we can sit up and let the shoulders roll back, or if we lay down, we can release the shoulders and feel that the chest and heart open. We breathe in, energy rises up, front, back, through body, if you wish. And as we breathe out, it gently comes down to the heart space. And this is a really nice place to radiate energy out. Or if you're feeling like you really kind of need some self-love at the moment, and we probably all need more of that, maybe you just feel this kind of pool of energy radiating around your own heart space. According to the chakra system, it's green. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, draw that to the heart space. Our place of love, of nourishment. What do we need here? We're very often encouraged to be kind, and we interpret that as kind to everyone else. We're giving out our energy and our love to everybody else, but let's just check on our own reserves perhaps tonight. How are they doing? Are we stocked up, or are we running a little bit low on that kindness for self? And perhaps as we next breathe in, the energy rises up and out of the crown of the head. As we breathe out, we come down, heart space, all the way down, solar plexus, sacral, into the root. Maybe we rise back up, root, sacral, plexus, heart. And absolutely keep the hands to the heart space if you wish, if you feel like that's nice for you. But we start to bring our attention then up towards the throat. So this can be quite a complex space. You might notice initially, what do you feel in the throat space? You might swallow. Does this space feel clear? Or is there something else that exists around the throat space? You might feel that you want to focus on the front of the body here, or take it round towards the back of the neck, the top of the spine. Breathe in from the root all the way up to the crown of the head. Breathe out. It's a slower breath out, but maybe a bit shorter. Come down to the throat space. Maybe even allow that to just gently expand and massage over the shoulders. Just taking a couple of those breaths, rising upwards, and then releasing down to our point, where we're feeling, seeing, experiencing this throat space. Associated with the color blue. So maybe we see that nourishing around our throat, the back of the neck, into the shoulders, might even creep up into the jaw. Lots of links with all of those places in the body. Maybe if we feel like there is something at the moment where we're not being heard or we're not able to speak clearly, we need to really own our voice and our truth, we see that blue expand wider. So giving us the confidence to express our voice. As we exhale. Breathe in when the next breath is there, from the root up to the crown. Breathe out, travel back down through the chakras that we've experienced so far. Throat, heart, solar, sacral, root. Perhaps breathe in, rise back up through them. And come up towards the space between the brows. And you could gently take the two fingers next to the thumb here, if it serves you, and just place them on the space between the brows. If you're lay down or if you're seated, that can work. If you like working with essential oils, crystals, things like that, we can also place crystals or give these areas a little massage to help stimulate them in our meditation. Space of intuition. How does it feel to settle there? So lower down, we have primal instincts, gut instinct, heart instinct, and we work up to intuition. As we breathe in, we come from the root all the way up. And as we breathe out, breathe into that space between the brows. That sounds a bit weird. You know, how can I breathe into a space? Can use our imagination, breathe into that space. Like the breath maybe even is then coming out of the space of the third eyes. Maybe it's expanding around the head. And this is said to be an indigo. And indigo and violet purples are some of the higher power colors, some of the colors that we might use for protection. Inhaling, maybe as we next exhale, we travel down front, back, through the body, all the way down to the root. As we breathe in, we come all the way back up past the third eye. And let's settle our awareness then on the crown of the head. So if we're seated, the crown of the head is just gently drawing up towards the sky. If we're lay down, got a little tuck of the chin to the chest to lengthen through the back of the spine and direct our energy through the crown of the head. Breathe in from the root and allow that to come all the way to the crown of the head and just above. As you breathe out, maybe this energy starts to travel down around the edges of the body. So almost like this kind of safe layer that is just traveling around us. We come back to the root, we breathe in up to the crown. As we breathe out, this violet light starts to spread all around the body. Perhaps it spreads out further into the rest of the world, the outside of our space. Perhaps it's spreading to someone we have in mind who might need some of this connective, higher consciousness energy. Or perhaps we feel we need it ourselves. And we just cover ourselves in this violet light. If there's a space that you felt more connected to, let's just take a last couple of breaths with you focusing on that particular space. If it was the whole shebang, then we could work our way up and down with the breath. You might even take a couple of deeper breaths out. Let the face be soft, the shoulders. And at this point, you might want to join the hands at the heart space or bring the hands onto the heart space, connect there. And just bring the chin down to the chest. So this sense of bowing to yourself, thanking yourself. And I bow to you. Thank you for joining me.